Hello everyone, my name is Marian and today we're driving the beautiful Mazda 3 in an all-wheel drive version with this magic innovation from Mazda called Skyactive X. So underneath the hood we have a 2-liter 180 horsepower engine with 224 Newton meters of torque at about 3000 RPM. So let's take a closer look at this engine here. Also, you don't have any, so you still have to use this stick. So the engine is here and it's very well, it's like put under a safe or something. So this is it, this is the 2-liter engine, which is quite big actually, it takes a lot of room. So I will not bother you with a lot of tech stuff about this engine. There are other YouTube channels that have done so. But the thing you need to understand about this engine is that it's working a similar way to a diesel engine. So it has a high compression rate and a lean mixture. So we have something like over 30 parts air, 1 part fuel. So if you want to make an engine more powerful, you put more air in. So in this kind of engine we have more air in, so we can save a lot of fuel. So it's called spark control ignition, this technology. We have a video showing off now, and it works in a similar way to a diesel engine, and it uses the compression as an advantage to make power. But when it's at the maximum peak, when the compression is about to ignite, that's when the spark plugs turns on in this engine. So that's the different thing from the diesel engine. It's a nice technology, the way Mazda tries to reinvent and make the gasoline engine as close to perfection as possible. But for what I have driven so far, it's not too efficient, especially in urban areas. Let's take a look at the backside of the car. So we have these aggressive looking tail lights. The LEDs are quite visible. So you have this nice signature. We have a double exhaust system. We have glossy black paint here. The sensors here, and you can open the boot like this. I'm trying to see where the camera is. Oh, the camera is here, and it gets dirty really easy. So this is the boot of the car. It's quite big for a compact car, and this is the baby buggy I use for my child, and it fits quite okay. There's still some room for some luggages here, but for a small family this is a good car. It's spacious. The thing I don't like about this car is this side here, the C-pillar, because you don't have any window and the rear view visibility is not so good. So this is how it looks in the back. Not so much space for me, and there's a space for a large child seat, but with the front seat moved quite a bit forward. We have glossy black painted 18-inch wheels, actually Bridgestone, so they're very good. I remind you that we have an all-wheel drive car, which I don't recommend this option because this is not an SUV, and it's good only if you live in a place that you have a lot of snow or mud or some stuff. But it's actually useful as a, let's say, safety system, because you have more wheels putting power to the road. Looks quite nice. I think it's one of the best looking compact cars in the segment. It's very aggressive in the front. We have LED headlights. We have this nice looking grille here with a beautiful Mazda logo. We also have here another camera. We have lots of sensor and a head-up display that can show you if a car is in your blind spot monitoring. Let's drive this car. So I've teleported myself into bumper-to-bumper traffic, where I want to show you that even though we have a revolutionary technology for the engine, at the end of the day in traffic like this, it will have the same fuel consumption as a regular 2-liter gasoline engine. So now we have 12.3 liters for every 100 kilometers. Of course, for a aspirated engine with this kind of horsepower, it's not too bad, and I think if I drive a little bit more economically, it can drop even more. But the advantage of this engine you'll see only when you drive at constant speeds. You have a constant RPM, and the engine can work in the spark controlled compression mode at high RPM. So when you're revving this engine above, let's say 4,500 RPM, it will burn and work like a normal gasoline engine in the auto running cycle. Because it's a mild hybrid, it can turn the engine while you're still a bit in the move. When you have like 5 kilometers per hour, you can turn the engine off and save a little bit more fuel, and you can also turn back on really fast at city speeds, because it has high torque at low RPM. You can change gears, let's say at less than 2000 RPM, 2200. So now I'm in 4th gear, doing 50 kilometers per hour, and the fuel consumption is at about 3.94 liters for every 100 kilometers. So as I said earlier, at constant speeds it can do a really good job on fuel economy. But don't expect to save a lot of money with this engine. It will have a better fuel economy with about 20% than an average engine. Should I recommend this engine? Yes, because at this moment in the Mazda 3 lineup you don't have a more powerful engine, so it has 60 more horsepower than the Skyactiv G, and for that I should recommend it. But if you don't want extra power and you're driving like this in city traffic, I would not pay extra money for that horsepower and for that fuel efficiency, because the Skyactiv G can be, I guess, more fuel efficient in city driving. This car is good if you drive a lot of kilometers on highways. So this is my second time driving this Mazda 3, and this is a car that I like a lot. It looks really sick, but as I mentioned earlier, there's not so much good visibility because of that sick looks. So as you can see in the back, I can't see much stuff around there. Luckily I have a lot of cameras that can help me out with parking and maneuvering this car. I like the gear changes, they're very snappy, they feel fast. There's a clicky feel to them, so it feels like a PlayStation Thrustmaster steering wheel. And I can reach very easily for every gear I want. I also like the steering feel, so it's heavy but not too heavy, so that will not affect my driving in city or parking the car. The steering feels very sporty in this default mode, but I can't choose any other modes. But in this default setup, it works really fine. I like how the pedals are feeling, so they have a strong feeling to them. The clutch is not too light, and I can feel where the point where it's biting the most, so I can I don't know, go from green light very easy. I like how the brake pedal feels. It's very progressive, and it doesn't make you hit the steering wheel with your head. So it has a very progressive feel to it, so you can brake really easy from high speeds or low speeds. Also, the interior of the car is really nice. It's very futuristic, it's very minimalistic at the same way. We have a digital screen in front of me there, surrounded by that chrome thingy there. I can see a lot of information about the car, any driving aids I have on. I can see only the speedometer if I want to. I have the tachometer there, and I have the fuel gauge there, and the water temperature, range, and the instant fuel consumption. I also have nice buttons on the steering wheel for different commands. So on the left hand side we have the commands for infotainment system, and on the right hand side we have the commands for cruise control, adaptive cruise control, and lane assist. And I like the fact that on some cars, for instance, you have the volume control and radio station controls here, but I also have them here. So I prefer this way, because for the most of the time I keep my left hand on the steering wheel because the other one is busy changing gears. For infotainment controls, there's no touchscreen, but this widescreen looks really nice. It's very colorful. It shows ways really nice on this widescreen setup, and because there's no touchscreen, you can control it with this knob here. And I have different shortcuts for different commands for media. It opens Spotify. I have for home. I have for navigation, and jumps me back to Waze. And the volume knob, it's right here. For climate control, we have dual zone climate control. We have knobs here, and I also have a heated steering wheel and heated seats for me and for the right passenger. I like this red trim, looks really nice, but it's only available on higher trims like GT and GT Plus, if I remember well. And this car costs in my country about 32,000 euros with the all-wheel drive settings. I really love this car. I love the way it drives, but I would pick the automatic gearbox, especially if you're driving in city traffic. It's not a dual clutch transmission. That one, it's actually a classic automatic transmission that has been tweaked a bit to work with this engine a little bit more differently. But it's still okay, and being a classic gearbox, it will not have any reliability problems, let's say. I like the driving position. I sit very low and I feel very implicated in driving, and that I like a lot. So these are my impressions of the Mazda 3 Skyactiv X engine. This is a car I like a lot, and I think it's one of the best compact cars you can buy right now, by the looks, by the driving style, by the engine. It has everything that it can offer. I really recommend this car, and it's one of the best in its segment. So see you on the next one. Bye.